My name is Katharina Pozo Ledezma. I'm living in Cologne right now, and I'm happy that I could escape carnism a bit more than 2.5 years ago. And right after that, I decided to live in an ashram, which is also a yoga seminar house. So I lived there for 12 months. It's a place with over 170 steady living people there. So they're called sevakas, which means working without or fruitless working. So you don't get money for that, but you're just able to have a lot of spiritual practice there. You get food, amazing food, and you can do lots of yoga, and you have seminars, and you get just everything what you need there, but you don't earn any money. So there, it's actually the biggest yoga ashram in Germany, so it's based in Germany. I was also very surprised that we have something like this, but apparently it's there already for over 20 years. And I also made a yoga teacher's training there, which was part of why I could experience lots of changes in myself. Like for right now, seeing myself back then, I was really trapped and had lots of blockades of energy in myself. I have this rheumatoid arthritis, which is a disease where I could nearly walk. I was in times where I was in wheelchairs. I'm very used to walk with crutches, so I'm used to a lot of pain, also physical pain, and I could actually never make the connection between being in the pain of my body, but also having a pain in my soul. I was like, okay, no, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. I just take a pill and then I'm better, and then I'm just doing this. So, yes, being in the ashram, I also reminded myself, oh my God, when I was 15, I actually met the Dalai Lama, and that was in my hometown, and he actually blessed me. And I'm like, I actually never talked about that because I never met people who would be interested in that. And then I was just like, oh my God, that was actually really awesome, so cool. And now I can actually know people, I can talk to this about it, so it was really nice. So I feel I'm really grateful for this now. So after these 12 months, I find this urge for needing to go out, because in there it was more like, okay, we're spreading light, but we are waiting for the people coming to us. But I had this urge for, okay, I need to go out, I need to do activism, and I wanted to make the whole world vegan, and I was just like, oh my God, I cannot have only online friends. I want to go out in the city. So I went back to Cologne, got my flat back, and first it was really loud and really light and bright everywhere, but yes, I get used to it. And so now I'm for almost a year now into activism, started really to do a lot, the Keep of Truth in Cologne, and also I started the TXE chapter just beginning of this year, and then we started the Köln Animal Safe. Yes, so now we're traveling around, doing lots of conferences, meeting a lot of people, being everywhere, talking there. It's really a lot. And yeah, we found that this workshop is kind of important because I think it's something I was actually surprised, and I really appreciate that we already talked a lot about self-care and caring about each others and caring about outreaches, caring about slaughterhouse workers, caring about truck drivers. I think that's awesome. It's nice that there is a lot of empathy we want to give each other and other people too. But yeah, so we were trying to put stuff in this workshop which can maybe help rising first ourselves and then as a movement, of course. So now I give it to Miriam.
Hello, my name is Miriam Stork. Go down on here. Sorry. So I saw through Speciesism this January, and I started activism in April. I started with street activism and Keep of Truth, and just like, I don't know, in summer we started Köln Animal Safe and also organizing DXE together. I also discovered spirituality before activism, which I'm really grateful for, because it brings it into another perspective that I think is really, really helpful. So I traveled in Portugal and discovered a spiritual community and lived there for quite a while. I think first time half a year, another time again, but it was really connected through some years. And what I discovered there was, how huge our capacity is to love and to be happy, and how to access that part in us and just get closer to that understanding and experiencing it more and more in my day-to-day life. So, but what was also getting very clear in this time for me is, even though we worked physically really hard, our focus was always really much about our own growth and the growth as a community. So what we see in society happening is like, it's all about doing much, and not so much about, also giving importance to the complexity of our experiences and having time for that, especially. Like if something was coming up between us, we would just stop working and we would look at it. So it's a really different kind of, also seeing life and relating to life and relating to the importance of our growth as a whole. So also with activism, we are really focused in the outside world, we are really focused to do a lot of work for the animals. And I mean, I'm also like really positively surprised how much we talk here about caring about ourselves and about the positivity. But I still think like we can go so much deeper in appreciating and giving space to reflection and growing together. Also in our day-to-day life, not only when we go to conferences, but also, like we have like so many events in Cologne, and it's like cube, and then it's this and this and this, and you just, it happens so fast that you're more in the doing than in the, reflecting and taking time to care for what already is there. Can I go down? Yeah, so what we think is that if we want to have a community that is strong and resilient, we have to prioritize this differently, and we have to start with ourselves, which is one of the main reasons we are doing the workshop, to have this emphasis on self-awareness and starting with ourselves and come from there into the outside and into the community and into the growing. Yes. So, mach auch hier. Mach auch erst bei dir, sonst, also muss man beides machen.
Willst du dann den?
Achso, yeah. Okay, so I've got a question for you. Did you ever feel angry for a whole week straight? So I say, my statement is no, that this is not possible, because emotions, they come and go. Even though we experience, over the days we are still angry, but there are many things happening in between, like we're not constantly in this one emotion. So, and when I was thinking about this question, I actually had to remember a situation with my mother, where I was younger, and for some reason, I don't remember the reason, but I was really angry with her, but nothing really bad happened. Maybe I was in a bad mood, and I really wanted to hold on to this anger. But remember that she saw that happening, and that I was just holding on to it. So she made silly faces, and she made me laugh through that. So even though I wanted to stay angry, I couldn't. The faces were so funny that I had to start laughing. And why I say that is I think that when we are younger, especially when our emotions, they easily change through external situations or people, but when we get older, we get the impression that we actually stay longer in emotions for a longer time, but not because the external situations keep happening, but we keep choosing to recreate this emotion over and over again. Like, for example, then somebody makes you laugh, and then you're like, no, but I want to be angry, and you just try to think what made you angry in the first place, so you can get angry again. Yeah.
So, just a quick memo.
Just a quick memo. So the difference between emotions and feelings. are that emotions are actually physically radiate through our entire body. So that means we can feel them, like you can feel your heart pound, or you can feel, oh, I feel sick in my stomach, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm angry. And feelings are purely in our heads, so it's actually a construct of our brain. So you can decide actually to feel something. Feelings can also be influenced by beliefs, memories, and experiences, so they are more subjective. The feeling is the meaning that we actually give to an emotion, so we can actually also say, okay, I feel my heart pound, but no, I don't feel good about it. So you can actually decide to feel whether emotions, you cannot decide if you want to be emotional or not. So, okay, how do I do this? So, another reminder, the emotion always comes first and the feeling second. That means when you're, for example, we love all our examples with wild animals, right? So if we are, as usual, in a jungle and when we're in a jungle and there's a tiger standing in front of us, we actually feel the emotion of fear, so we can feel like sweat and we can feel our heart pound. So we are like, oh my god, what's happening? So adrenaline is coming and we are getting ready to actually run away because that's an emotion. The feeling would be, another time you're going to the jungle, you have the anxiety of, oh my god, maybe the tiger is coming in. Oh my god, maybe the tiger is coming again. So that's the difference, just to let you know. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, so, and as in the example with my mother, so emotions aren't staying over a long time, they come and go. And there's an example about a movie and the screen. So when we normally watch a movie, we're just really focused on the movie and don't even realize that or we don't pay attention to the screen because we only focus on the content and not about what holds the content. But without the screen, there would be actually no movie. But the movies, they can change, and they do change, but the screen always stays the same. And when we look at our emotional experiences, it's like the same. When we are emotional, and normally we know, okay, they come and go. But in the moment we are emotional, we can still feel and act like the emotion is us, and it's not only a part of our experience, but it's like basically us. Yes, and but we can actually witness our emotions because they are not us, they're just part of our experience, which is a really important difference. Through our body reactions, we can witness them. And when we really realize that on a deeper level, that this is not the same, and that they are not us, but only part of our experience, we can more easily access the strength that it doesn't harm us, and that there's no need to push our emotions aside. Yes.
Okay, so pushing emotions away, that can of course be really tempting if we're in a situation which we think we should not feel like, or we should behave in a certain way. So self-awareness actually means to embrace whatever wants to be there now, or whatever is actually expressed by our body. So, for example, you should feel happy because it's a very close person's birthday party. So you're like, oh, actually I don't feel good, maybe you're lovesick or you're something. But you have to go, and of course you have to be happy because it's a birthday party and you cannot disappoint this person. So you go there, right? Even though you actually don't feel happy about it, but you just choose to go there anyway. It's no need to be sorry about it, because I should embrace that I'm able to have tears. I should embrace that I'm able to actually show my emotions. So hiding them and then becoming actually something we're not, or even creating another persona about it, is actually something we should really not do.
Machst du das? Klickst du es?
Ja.
Okay.
Aber du musst aber nochmal.
Because they can even block or get blocked in our physical body, and by not observing them and actually giving those emotions the attention they need to be seen. We need to work on them because they deserve that. Also, as a smile, or people saying, "Oh, you smile, you have such a nice smile," and then embrace that when you're happy. But we can also learn again, if we did not maybe learn it. My parents were like, "Oh, you're so much prettier when you smile. So don't make a sad face." So we should actually give them the attention they need, like these emotions, talking about sad emotions now, for example. Embrace them and don't make the mistake that they can maybe be absorbed by your physical body and they can make a blockade. So that can come in headaches or insomnia, that you maybe wake up of your thoughts and you're like, oh my god, if I do this, do I have to do this? Thinking about situations where you could have actually feel about it, but then you choose to maybe think about emotions. Overeating, such as just swallowing emotions down. Having back pain, I experienced that. I found out for myself that a lot of the back pain I have is actually a lot of just stored in my body. I mean, this is coming from the yoga philosophy now, and I can mention this now. Everything what I'm saying is just experiences I made myself, and of course I heard people talking about it for, I mean, these are philosophies coming or being maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 years old, so these are my experience, and I found they worked out for me. So I could actually find that the more I was going and diving deep into these emotions, my back pain was actually getting less and less, because my body was screaming, okay, attention please, and through these emotions I could dive in, physically pain and also soul pain, so to say. Okay. So there's now, after the two dark pictures, a nice blue picture. So, yeah, you can make everything. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I thought that really fit nice, because does actually anyone have a clue who was saying that? I found it funny that it's Jesus, because he's such I think it's funny because Jesus already know, like, check your emotions. So, yes, I think it's funny. So,
That's me.
okay, coming to accepting.
Okay.
So if we choose to accept, which hopefully we're at the point where we realize that's really healthy and needed, we can experience that not only does it feel good to finally feel what we feel and to accept it instead of giving all this energy to pushing it away, but it can we also can have an experience of relief, and that the emotion dissolves and we are reconnected with an ease of being and a feeling of, okay, I'm simply alive. That wasn't there before, or not in its depth. And we can feel that weight that we carried around. It's kind of the same, so it's okay. That we carried around for a long time has left us. And we carry a lot of emotional overweight with us, and maybe we are not even aware of it because we are so used to feel that way. And by letting go of unnecessary baggage, we discover new resources to carry our loved ones if they need us, without experiencing it as weight or too much. Yeah, and in the opposite, in my experience, we begin to be really grateful to have the ability to help and love them for who they are, or to even care more for the animals, because we just feel like our hearts have expanded and there's so much energy that is now released and free for our own usage in a good way.
So we're learning to accept our emotions and releasing them. Oh no. It's maybe. Okay, I'm sorry because I think I didn't write this. This slide. Okay. Okay, sorry. We just actually forgot about accepting our emotions, though it's a really natural process. So that does not mean that it feels right away comfortable to look at them and to actually face those emotions. Of course not, because society taught us that some emotions are good and some are not, so it can just be like really, really painful going into something and being like, oh my god, when I hear this song, then I'm angry again, or then I'm sad again. But I highly advise you, we both highly advise you to still do it, and it will become easier and easier over time, and you just get to know so much about yourself when you just dive in deep in this so-called depressions, and no one wants to be depressed. But, okay, I shouldn't probably use this word because I know it's a disease. But I talk about depression of being in a like depressed, like being pressed. So it's really worth the effort, because you will realize the more you know you, the more your life and your relationships are actually getting better. Because when you were really experiencing something, you can feel what the other person is maybe experiencing.
Yeah, so next question. Did you ever get too comfortable in not dealing with the situation? So as we probably know from our own experience, is that this can happen quite easily. Like, for example, when you know you should leave a job because you really don't like it so much, but it's kind of, okay, but then I have to deal with this and this and this and this. So you're kind of staying in it because it's still, yeah, more comfortable than doing something about it. Okay. So being self-aware in relationships. So when we come to the point, like we start being more self-aware, we start seeing the importance of dealing with our emotions. This is a really empowering feeling. Like you really feel like, okay, now I have control, and whatever is happening in my life, I can really deal with it in a way that is constructive and helps me to move forward and grow as a person. So, but the danger is, and like I experience it, I guess you too, is that that you get overly fascinated with that and with the sense of control. Yeah, and that like being in this comfortable position of being self-aware and with your own reflections, that you don't want to face so much messy or difficult situations that you could have with others, like your friends or your family or organizations you're part with. And you could even start to blame them for not being as self-aware as you feel like you are. Like, okay, so that this is like a messy situation is not because we both have our parts in it, but it's more like, okay, so I'm spiritual and they're not, so therefore, yeah, so I don't want to confront that because just messy because they make it messy, instead of like taking the responsibility and saying, okay, so yes, I am self-aware and I learn now how to grow myself, but still in relationships there's a lot that will come up and that is uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so by not facing disagreements with others and eventually going separate ways, it can be actually a missed opportunity to grow. So, for example, for choosing rather to leave an organization or a relationship or a job and work something out in my own way and make it maybe easier because I can build up something on my own and I can make it, of course, exactly how I want it to be. It can be the same with the job. I can choose another job so that I don't never have to have any confrontations or have to have any disagreements at all. You might miss the possibility to actually grow by seeing the different point of view. So that can be lived morals or values or whatever people are seeing differently. So that's actually feeding the feeling of not being seen. Maybe it was also something that, oh, maybe they did not acknowledge what I'm all doing, or I'm not, yes? Fine, okay, thanks. Where was I? Okay, maybe it came out of a feeling where you got not appreciated a lot. So, yes, you might miss an opportunity to actually have this confrontation, go in deep, dive in deep, discuss, and rise out of that.
Aber jetzt hier weiter einfach. Wir müssen mal überspringen. Weil wir wollen ja immer nur voll viel sagen, selbst von da aus.
Okay.
Ja, okay. Oh, we don't have so much time.
Okay, so what we really want to say, like we had to skip some parts, it's too long. But what is really important to say is that words can only point to this, and what counts is our very own experience. So we really don't want that anybody believes us, but we hope we can, through our talk, give some inspiration. And so saying like, yeah, like we really got in touch with love and happiness, that you feel like, oh yeah, I really want to have more from this as well. So yeah, there are many ways of doing that. We will say a bit more about this now. But always look at your own experience, always look how deep your own understanding goes and how much you are aligned with that, because this is where your own strength lays in. Like if you just believe others, like, I know that this and this is like this, then you don't have anything from it. Yeah, so an encouragement is for sure to meditate. We heard that before on this weekend, so I'm really happy we did. So we are saying it again, like learning to experience ourselves and not being a prisoner of our own thoughts, and not being like imprisoned by whatever is happening in our life right now and the external situations, but really get in touch with our own life force, our own joy, our own love. It's so powerful and important, and it will just be always like a source of so much strength. And also, like this is like a really good beginning, but if you have free time and you feel inspired, it's so good to spend real time with people that are on a similar path, and to just visit a spiritual community or an ashram and spend there some time and really have time to go deeper.
Yeah. I want to make this. Can you just say no, I wanted to. What do you want to know? What's happening? What are you trying? What do you want to do? What is happening? Okay.
Yeah, the book.
So here are 3 books then.
No, you have to say the book.
Okay, so 3 books that we read and I really recommend. I know we have a lot to read and there's a lot to watch and there's never time, I know, but maybe someone of your friends already have these books, or you just find some lines of this online. So I really recommend to read The Power of Now, Conversations with God, and Feeding Your Demons, which is actually a Lama. I think she is from Sweden, and she wrote this book about hugging and loving your inner demons, not pushing them away and saying, oh no, that's the ego, that cannot be, but actually feeding them with love until they burst out of love. So embrace whatever wants to be there. Yes, and if in doubt, how is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.